Hey guys, it's Nina here and welcome to The Way She Wears TV, where we talk about all things beauty and fashion. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about how to choose the right foundation shade for you and how to apply it. Let's go to Criz.
Hi guys, Criz here. So today we're going to talk about how to choose the perfect foundation for you and how to apply. So first thing first, there are a couple of things that you need to think of before you choose your foundation. First, you gotta think of what type of finish you wanna achieve. Second, what kind of coverage do you want to have? Do you want to have a sheer coverage or medium coverage or full coverage? And third is, what type of texture of foundation do you prefer? Because maybe you like something more liquidy, maybe you like something more creamy, or maybe you like just something more powdery. So again, those are the three things that you need to consider, okay? Texture, finish, and coverage. Depending on what you like, there are so many different foundations available out there, okay? So for me personally, and that's what I'm gonna show you today, I love using liquid foundations, okay? And I also love to use either a semi-matte finish or a more dewy hydrated finish. So for today, we're gonna use a semi-matte foundation. So what I have here in front of me, I'm gonna share it with you guys, or just to show you some different types of foundations. So we have the liquids. We also have the powder kind of foundation. Even though this is powder, it's actually a powder foundation. And we also have cushion foundation, which is also very easy to use because it comes with a sponge inside and you just have to tap and then you can dab it directly onto your skin. Let's not forget, there are also stick foundations. So this one example here is a beautiful stick foundation, which is almost finished. There you go. And it gives a beautiful medium to full coverage with a matte finish. So again, it really depends on what type of foundation you like to wear. Now that we've established what kind of foundation you like, the next step is to try the shade. To choose the perfect shade for you, you have to try at least 3 colors of foundation. I've already put a little bit of example here on this small dish over here, and when you're in a makeup store somewhere, make sure that you get to try it on yourself. I know that we're in a very sensitive situation today because of the pandemic, so you might not want anyone else to touch your skin. So that's why it's so important actually now for you to know how to try it yourself. I'm just gonna grab a brush. We're gonna start swatching. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply this generously on the jaw area right there, because that really is the best place to swatch a foundation. You have to match the color of your face to the color of your neck. All right, so let's take another color. All right, so that's the second shade that we're trying. And finally, let's try the third shade. All right. So now you can see 3 different shades on my skin. So 1, 2, 3. The best foundation color for you is the one that disappears into the skin. So whichever one becomes more invisible. Which one do you think? You are correct. I think it's this one. Do you agree? All right, so I think let's go for the middle one because as I can see, I think this is the one that disappears the most into my skin. This one is too light, and if I go for something too light for my skin, I might look very gray or very pale or dead. And this one might be too dark. It's nice sometimes to go for a darker shade if you want to look like you're bronzed, but then you have to make sure that it also matches your skin. So at the end, you kind of have to also blend this to the rest of your neck. But for a daily kind of foundation and something that you don't have to apply on your neck, then we have to go for the one that disappears into your skin. Okay, so I'm gonna clean the rest of my skin and then we'll apply this color here. I'll be back. Okay, so let's start the application of the foundation that we chose. One more thing you need to think of when you're applying your foundation is actually which type of brush you're going to use, or maybe a sponge. So it really depends on the finish that you want to achieve. If you want a full-on coverage, if you're gonna go to a wedding or you have a shoot, then you want to have a full coverage, I would go for any kind of flat foundation brush. So you can go for brushes like this. As you can see, the fibers of the hair are kind of thick. The hair bundle is thick and it's dense and it's flat. So when you do a motion like this, it's called tapping, you're actually building a lot of coverage. However, if you want something very, very natural, then you can go for a buffing brush or a sponge. So I have a buffing brush here. Sometimes you can also use the stippling brushes, or you can also use any kind of sponge. I love using beauty blenders because it just looks really, really natural. So excuse my kind of dirty beauty blender right now. I already washed it, but I love it so much that it already stained. But I love using this. I already wet it. As you can see, it's so soft. When you wet a beauty blender, it becomes really soft and puffy and big. So when you blend your foundation this way, it actually gives you a very beautiful, flawless, natural finish. Okay, so I'm gonna probably use a combination of 2 brushes and a sponge after, just to help blend it out. So let's start by applying foundation on the center of my face. I already cleaned my face. I put my skincare and primer. So now I'm gonna go directly into the foundation. When you're applying foundation, always start with a little amount and start at the center of the face. So I only put a small amount and then start tapping. The reason why you always have to start in the center is because this is actually the part of the face that we really need more coverage, and the rest doesn't need so much. So if you can perfect the center of your face, then that's all you really need to cover. It's all about layering as well. You can't just pile on one layer of foundation thinking that it's gonna give you a flawless finish. It has to be by layers. So you start with one layer, blend it out, and then you go for another layer again if you want more coverage. So there, I'm tapping just to give more coverage, and whatever's left on my brush, then I can just blend downwards. Go around the nose, chin area, the forehead as well. Make sure that you blend all the way up to your hairline, and that is it. If ever you want another layer, I also want to show you how I use the sponge. So I just dip my sponge in the product, and then I just start to tap it all over my skin. And it's nice and soft. It helps relax me a little bit. It can even go to the corner of the eye by just using the tip of the sponge. If you know that you're going to apply concealer over here, then you don't have to worry about putting too much foundation product around the eye area. And that's it, super easy. Now, just to add some finishing touches, I'm just gonna put a little bit of concealer in the inner corner here under my eye. And you can put anywhere else where you can find a blemish. I'll just stick to the same tool, which is the sponge. So the concealer that I'm using is a liquid concealer. And that is it. So that's the skin foundation and concealer. And that is your final look.